Hello, fellow detectives. Before we get into this episode of Treachery, please remember I am judging these players based off of an edit of this TV show. Their devious deeds do not define them as total people, so please don't send them any hate for being up to no good, for that is the name of this game. Enjoy the episode. The game is firmly afoot as the traitors take their first victim, and true or false becomes a dastardly game. It's time for another debrief as we get into all the dastardly devious deeds of these reality stars on the third season of Australian Traitors. Welcome back to Treachery. Why hello fellow detectives, it is lovely to see you. And welcome to our second debrief for the third season of Australian Traitors. Oh, isn't this delicious? We have our traitor's first victim. May they rest in power. Because unfortunately, we have seen the demise of Queen Kong. I am shook at this. I was like, no, this is not going to end like the US seasons do when there's always a drag queen and the drag queen goes home first. Well, don't I have egg on my face? My fellow detectives, yes I do. What I will say though, is I am slightly disappointed on a teeny detail that we didn't get the traditional frame drop that we have seen in first eliminations past in other variants. We got a version of it, but it didn't quite land for me. Anywho, we have a lot to talk about this episode. Now that we have said our fond farewells to Queen Kong, we have to get into that group challenge and the most dramatic round table ceremony as our faithfuls and traitors came together for the very first banishment of the season. But before we get there, I want to touch on one more thing about breakfast. And that is Kirby. Kirby. I said it in the mini recap, and it bears repeating. This game is not Survivor. That is not going to serve you well, with all due respect, because I do think you are great television. Playing this game like Survivor will have you banished in 0.5 seconds, as we saw in the next time preview, which we will get to later. But now that I've gotten off my soapbox, let's talk about the team challenge, or should I say teams challenge. This, oh boy, this, I'm going to be honest, was a bit of a mess because they hardly won any money. There was $18,000 up for grabs and they only won $7.5. And I'm like, uh-oh, clang. A lot of the teams didn't win anything. Not good, faithfuls, not good. And I don't really know whether the traitors succeeded in their mission with these answers to these questions on actually throwing the cat amongst the pigeons, because I feel like a lot of the suspicions, aside from one very notable slip-up, which we will come to very soon, a lot of these suspicions were already pre-existing. For example, Shane and Reese. It's only doubling down on what people are already thinking. I don't think it really served that well in throwing a metaphorical cat amongst the metaphorical pigeons, which I think is a little bit of a missed opportunity for these traitors. But I'm beginning to think that these traitors are only good when they're in the conclave. I'm sorry, I know that's harsh, but these three really need a shake-up. Don't get me wrong, Alvin's probably my favourite of the three, but Alex is giving me really nothing, and Kirby, well, Kirby's about to blow up her own game. I did think it was interesting that Tully was singled out. Also, Tully gave us a great confessional before this challenge, and I'm very here for a one-liner. And please, Tully, keep delivering the one-liners. I love them. This was, just a bit of a missed opportunity, I thought, as a challenge. Yeah, it kind of activated Monarchy a bit more, but overall I was just a bit like, oh, this is a bit of a limp noodle. However, it did give us one thing that I loved, because this is the kind of bizarre humor, and I say that with all the love in the world. This is the kind of wonderfully bizarre humor that only Gamble can give us. The moment with her and Josh was freaking fantastic. And even Gretel just watching on going, huh? You don't know his name? Do you need a sec? I was like, I'm so glad they're playing into the comedy, because that was really, really great. Now, if you'll ever so swiftly allow me to just shuffle us right along to never mind the challenge, but the aftermath of the challenge and Kirby's slip-up. Because this, I would argue, is where the real drama of the episode kicks off. Because we saw prior to that Kirby was kind of bold-faced denied to by AJ and Henry, and now Kirby has slipped up in saying with the group, but primarily to Rob's ears, a misuse of a we and an us. And I'm like, you see, this is how much of a tightrope these traitors walk. This is why you need to be more careful. And coming back to Kirby and the Survivor Boys, I am really shocked as somebody who has played Survivor multiple times and is playing a game with other Survivor contestants, that she isn't more proactively trying to protect herself. I feel like she has just kind of accepted that the ship has sailed, with Henry in particular. And I don't think there could be a worse way you could play that. If that were me, you would have to bring him under your wing immediately, because that is not only a bull with a red flag in a china shop, but like a burning bonfire that you've thrown gasoline on. No! What are you doing? Don't just accept that they're bold-faced lying to you, Kirby. What? I thought better of the Survivor players in this game, and to be honest with you, that is firmly laid at Kirby's feet for me at the moment, because I think Henry is about to play a blinder of an episode next episode with that next time. However, we'll come to that in a sec. After the break, we are going to talk about that banishment. I'll see you in just a second, fellow detectives. Welcome back, fellow detectives. Shall we talk about a banishment? Yes, I think we shall, because we have come to that point of the episode. For the very first time this season, our motley crew of reality stars gathered around the infamous round table to yell, scream, and cast accusations at one another, as any good Traitors contestant will do. This was interesting, because there was a lot of group finger pointing and stabs in the dark. But I'm going to start with the small detail first that kind of got on my nerves. Where did the character that Gretel has been playing in all of her other bits of this series so far seemingly vanish to in this round table? I feel like we just got very straight down the line host Gretel. Not a complaint, still fabulous, but I was expecting eccentric manor woman Gretel, not straight down the line Gretel? Did they tell her to do that? If so, missed opportunity to just sort of wreak a little more havoc, I say. But to our actual contestants, now that I've gotten that out of my system, I am surprised that none of these people have remembered a single thing that they would have been prepped on, probably going into that manner. Do not vote as a group that easily, that quickly at your first banishment. Now look, I am aware that they don't have much to go on, so odds were they were probably going to vote out of Faithful. But the herd mentality of going, it's got to be Shane, even though they were the ones that pushed her forward. Now, I haven't really been here nor there on Shane, to be honest with you. But I actually kind of felt a little bit for Shane in this moment. I mean, I don't think she defended herself that well, if I'm honest. Really? Or at least not what made the edit. I feel bad for Shane because it's kind of like, well, they put you in this position as a group because they pushed you forward, and now they're trying to get rid of you for it. So it is a little bit bizarre, and I would argue, wouldn't that be a lazy decision from Gretel or casting or whoever was making those traitor picks initially to make somebody that they already think is treacherous because of what she did, but as it was quite so well put, wouldn't you want to stay in the game? And that is the choice that had to be made. It's either you take somebody out or you leave. And do you really want to come all the way to New Zealand just to turn around and pack your bags? Nah, not when there's $250,000 at stake. I certainly wouldn't. I'd be putting up a fight. I did kind of feel for Shane. The other really bizarre thing is this seemingly bubbling feud between Rachel and Kira. Now, if you'll forgive me for a little bit of a tangent, Kira being the villain is going to get real tired real quick. While I can appreciate somebody leaning into the bit, it's too much. Even for traitors, it's too much because it's not... None of this is grounded in facts with Kira. It's all emotion. And if you're going to go after somebody at a round table, you really need a crumb, just a crumb of a fact. And the feud between those two seems to come from nowhere. I can understand the kind of beef between Kira and Monarchy, but Rachel and Kira, I'm like, what's going on here? Is this The Bachelor? I don't know. So I hope that that can be squashed. I don't think it's going to serve either of them well in the game. It kind of makes Kira look kind of bad, and also just has me scratching my head going, what exactly did Rachel do? In the end, it was an overwhelming group vote that saw Shane Gould be our first banished player from the game for this season. But that wasn't all, because then we got the next time teaser. And it looks like Henry is activated and ready to go for one of his own, Kirby. And I cannot believe that this is happening so quickly. I knew with the way Kirby was playing things, she may not last long, which is a shame because I do think she has the potential to be a great trader, but too hard too fast. This is not Survivor. I am ready for Tuesday because I want to see how that unravels and whether Kirby can survive by the seat of her pants, because I would not like to be at that round table, I'll tell you that for free. But we will just have to wait it out, won't we? I will see you again on Wednesday with my debrief of all that chaos. And of course, you'll have the mini debriefs on Tuesday straight after the episode, and Wednesday straight after the episode, and the second full episode on Thursday. Thank you so much for an incredible week of Traitors Chaos. I am thoroughly loving this series, and I cannot wait to continue to talk about this chaos with you. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and leave me a comment over on the YouTube or the Spotify telling me who you think will be banished next, or indeed who the traitors might consider as their next victim. Personally, I think it's probably Dicko. Because I don't think they'd be smart enough to get rid of Sneaky Deaky Rob. Sorry, tangent as I was trying to wrap the show there. If you've enjoyed this, please share it with a friend. Come and say hello over on socials at We Are Glitterball. I will see you very, very soon for more Traitors Chaos. I hope you have a fabulous weekend or weekday, evening, whatever it is, whenever you're watching this or listening to this. Thank you for being here. And in the meantime, fellow detectives, stay safe out there. It's treacherous. I'll see you soon.